Hey guys. So I was actually talking to a friend of mine that is getting into cycling, and he was asking me, how should I train? How can I train, or what should I do to get better? And the conversation went kind of deep because anybody that asks me this question, I have to almost quantify, well, what do you mean with better? And also, what do you want to be good at? What's the end goal? So, if you just want to be a little bit faster to keep up with club rides, when we're talking about road riding here, then then the training is towards that. If the end goal is actually to peak at a certain time, well, then you have to have a really good schedule so that you work up the training towards a certain time and a goal. But if you're just training for overall getting faster on the bike, I'm going to give you the secret sauce. Are you ready? Got to get on the bike. There's no other way about it. You want to get generally faster on the bike, you got to get on the bike. It's as simple as that. You want to be a better climber? Do some climbing. You want to be a better sprinter? Do some sprinting. If you want to do a mountain biking, I'm a big mountain biker. I love mountain biking. And if you want to be better at technical trail riding or better at taking corners, then you gotta put yourself in those positions and situations where that's where you're exercising, that's what you're doing. Um, Sitting on a bike and doing low intensity for months on end is not going to improve your top end performance. It really isn't. Are you going to burn some calories? Are you going to keep your cardiovascular kind of working? Sure. But you got to push yourself. You got to get to the point where you're uncomfortable. And my friend, funny as he is, he mentioned, I don't like to get uncomfortable. Well, cycling partially is getting uncomfortable. Um, Whether it's mountain biking or road riding, if you want to be faster, if you want to get competitive, whether it's club riding or whatnot, you gotta push those limits where you are going to suffer. You're gonna be uncomfortable. When I did race, which is many years ago now, but when I did race, and I did win, and I was competitive, I did so many times because I was willing to suffer more than the next guy. Everybody going up the hill, going on the climb, is hating it and suffering it. So it's a mental state of mind of, am I going to beat the hill or climb, or is this hill or climb going to beat me? And knowing that everybody around you is suffering just as much, if not more, is super important, and it's a state of mind that you have to literally mantra yourself. Now, when I do climbing, I like to climb actually. People say, "Well, nobody likes to climb," but I like to climb because I pushed on the climbs, and that's where I saw other people really suffer, and I got joy out of seeing other people suffering on the bike and me passing them. I was suffering too. I was in pain. My legs were burning. My lungs were like catching my breath. But here's the thing. It's about pushing your limits. Now, all that set aside, if you're into cycling and riding because of sheer joy, then do whatever you want. Nobody tells you to go faster or slower. Do whatever you want. If you're there to burn calories, see, nowadays, my time is very limited. So I might only have an hour and a half on the ride or on a bike. So when I get on, I go full blast. I go completely full blast. And I burn as many calories and as fast as I can. And I don't really have a schedule to try to improve my conditioning or not. But, I'm fairly competitive even today. If you give me an hour, I'll push some serious watts for an hour. But after that, I don't have the endurance, not the way that I used to. Why I share this with you guys is there's so many people asking, there's so many people looking at how can I get better at riding, how can I get from group C to B or from B to A and so on. And if you're really from B to A, then you already know as much as I do. If not, you're looking into at getting a lot better, generally speaking. If you're looking at a C rider and you're looking at going into B, then it's conditioning and pushing yourself and getting to the point where it hurts a little bit. There's a little pain there, but you're able to maintain that level, that threshold of pain or uncomfortableness, as I may say it. And people always throw these keywords or these terms. Everybody used to talk about VO2 max, and now it's FTP, functional threshold power or whatever. It all really comes down to anyone can actually adjust those numbers and push a little harder. It's just a matter of how uncomfortable, how much are you going to deplete yourself to get those numbers out, and how much are you willing to suffer on the bike. So anyways, my long story short is, if you're a runner and you want to be faster at the 100-meter dash or whatnot, then you're going to have to practice a 100-meter dash, and you have to sprint. If you are a runner and you want to do a 5K, then you have to pace yourself to be able to do that 5K. And if you're a marathon runner, you're going to have to go a little bit slower and still maintain yourself for that length of the marathon. And biking is no different. If you want to be a sprinter, then do sprints and sprint intervals. It's super simple. You do sprint intervals because you have to have that top end speed, short-term power output. If you have a club ride and you always feel yourself fading the last 10 miles or 5 miles or 15 miles or whatever, how long that club ride is, you're fine up until the last 10 miles. Then it's your longevity, then it's your endurance, and you're going to have to work on creating more space in your training so that you can train for that. Doing sprint intervals for trying to last a long club ride that's 60 miles and the last 10 miles is where you suffer, where you start dropping off. Sprint intervals is not going to do anything for you. You're just going to get faster at sprinting. In fact, it might even hurt you. Golfers, I'm not a big golfer, but they always say if you work on your putting game, your long shots are going to suffer. And if you work on your long shots, your putting game is going to suffer. So there's no you gotta look at what you want to accomplish and what you want to do, and that's what you train for. And that's the best advice anybody can give you. Everything else is a little bit of BS. Now, if you really are competitive and you're really looking at that one race that's going to be, in June or July or whenever, several months ahead, then there are actual training programs that can gear you up towards a race like that. And there's specific training programs, and there's lots of them out there. I'm not going to recommend one over the other. But if you're an all-around rider and you want to get just a little bit faster, a little bit better, then do exactly what you're trying to do. If you're looking at getting better at 60-mile rides that happen on Saturday or whatnot, then you got to do some 60-milers or get on Zwift. If you don't know what Zwift is, Google Zwift, ZWIFT. It's an indoor training application that's, anyways, you look it up. And or just train indoors. I do a lot of my training indoors. I don't do I don't do any sprinting training indoors. Anybody that does, I think they're not really getting the proper effect out of it. Sprinting indoors is not the same thing as sprinting out in the road. And you know what? If you're doing sprint intervals, you don't need to leave your neighborhood. You can literally be up and down your street if you wanted to. There are short spurts of high power energy, so you don't have to bike 5-10 miles away from your house. You can literally go and turn around and go and turn around and go and turn around until your heart's content. Now, climbing, if you want to be good at climbing, I suggest getting a couple of routes that have some climbing in it. But if you want to be good at climbing, what you do is on a climb is, first of all, start spinning. Get used to high cadence. And second of all, every climb, if you want to be good at climbing, every climb that you see, you push. You don't rest. You don't go slow. Nobody wins at climbing by going slow on climbing. So if you want to be better at climbing, do climbing, but do it fast. And it's gonna push your top end. Not so fast that you're sprinting, but it's gonna push that level of uncomfortable, level of being uncomfortable in the bike for a longer time, and you'll win. You'll get it. You'll get there. So just wanted to share that with you guys. The best training you can do is the training for what you want to do. Don't spend too much time and too much effort and too much money on investing in things when your goal is just to get a little bit faster overall, or just to get a little bit better at climbing, or just to get a little bit faster at sprinting. If you're a really competitive person, you probably already have a training program, as in racing, cat level racing like Cat 2 and Cat 1 and so on. But if you're a club rider, let's face it, just going out and riding and doing the things you need to do is going to make you better. But going out and going slow day after day, and you're not really pushing yourself, you're just creating a lot of miles. And a lot of people talk about base miles, how important that is. Well, it's not that important. Let me tell you, if you want to get better, you got to push yourself. Just doing empty miles out there is a waste of time, just burning some calories for nothing. So you want to get faster, ride faster. You want to go faster sprinting, then sprint more and sprint faster. I mean, it seems like such simple logic, but so many people get so caught up on, well, I'm doing base today, and I'm doing this today, and I'm doing that today, and I'm like, well, what are your goals? Anyways, I didn't want to take too long on this. I just want to share that with you guys. When it comes to training, keep it simple. Go out there and do what you need to do, and don't stay comfortable. You gotta push yourself. If you're not pushing yourself, you're not improving. Nobody walks faster by just walking slow. It's it's dead simple, guys. So you want to get faster, you gotta push yourself and get uncomfortable, get that heart going, get that blood going. And then we can talk, other videos about dieting, and as in what to eat, not diet, but what to eat to perform better, and what to drink to perform better. And there are some things that certainly make you perform better when it comes to what we eat and drink and so on. That's another video, that's another topic. Hey, if you found this useful, or if you find it interesting or amusing, then give me a thumbs up. If you thought this was a complete waste of your time, give me a thumbs down. Please subscribe to my channel. It helps me support this channel, and I really like to share what I've learned so far about cycling, and I'm still learning today, and also the products and things that I review and whatnot. So I really appreciate it. Take care, guys, and ride safe.